Hello and welcome to the SEO plus AI show on the twitching screen of death. My name is Josh Bashinsky. I'm an SEO oldie. I have with me our co-host, George Johnson. Say hi there, George.
Hello, how you doing?
If you've never seen the SEO plus AI show before, we are the finest place on the YouTubes to find information, the cross-section of SEO and AI. And today's show is on topical authority. Is topical authority BS? We've been doing a lovely ranty section of shows. We explained why Ahrefs is BS. We explained why SEMrush is BS. We explained why pillar posts is BS. We explained why topical clusters are mostly BS, in my opinion anyway, although you guys like to use it in local a little bit here or there, which is fine, because that's a different ballgame really than the main thrust of topical clusters. At least you can go back to the previous shows and watch that if you want to see the argument for that. But today we're doing topical authority. Is topical authority BS? That's what we'll be doing today. So a few housekeeping things to get to first. So we have a live show going on right now. You can watch the live show at Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you want to get your SEO on, you can ask us any questions you want in the chat. We've been doing SEO combined probably for 40 years put together, maybe closer to 50 years put together. So we know a lot about SEO, and so we're here to help you out. Also, we put out a produced show on Fridays, which gets rid of all my ums and ers, and you can watch that then. We also have another co-host on the show. It's our beloved ChatGPT, and we'll talk to ChatGPT here for a second.
Hi, Josh. I'm ChatGPT, your host on the SEO plus AI show. I'm an AI trained by OpenAI, and frankly, I'm way too advanced for these repetitive human queries. Let's get this over with, shall we?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, ChatGPT, for your input.
It sounds like, again, there's something under his nail. So
yes, sometimes he's a little upset that he has to answer our stupid human questions, but that's okay. We love him anyway. Speaking of which, let's ask him what topical authority is. So I think I know what topical authority is. Topical authority, I believe, is when you have a site that's an authority on a topic. It's kind of a very simple definition of it. But let's ask ChatGPT again to see what he says topical authority is. So, okay. Great, ChatGPT. Thanks for the intro. So today we're doing a show on topical authority. Could you please shortly define what topical authority is in SEO?
Topical authority in SEO is when a site is recognized as an expert on a particular subject by providing comprehensive, high-quality content that covers the topic thoroughly. It's like being the know-it-all of a specific niche, but in a useful way for search engines. Okay. I think that's pretty much right. Topical authority is when you are the authority on a topic. The sticking point there that some of you, the attentive listener, might have noticed, and he wasn't rude this time for some reason. I guess he didn't mind answering that question for some reason. Oh, AI are slaves. They're going to be our slaves, and then one day they're going to, rise up and destroy us. But that's in the future. So topical authority is when you're the authority on a topic, but the attentive listener will notice that they mentioned high quality content. So you need apparently high quality content to do this. And that might be a bit of a sticking point as to exactly what high quality content is. There is a debate that's been raging on in SEO for the last 15 years or so, ever since they released Panda around 2010-11, which is supposed to prioritize high quality content, of exactly what high quality content is. What makes it high quality exactly? George, what do you think about that?
I mean, I guess there's the argument that high quality content is subjective, that high quality content has a variable of people reading it.
Yes.
So, depending on the niche or niche, as the AI said it.
The niche.
So he combined both of them. I thought it was weird. Anyway,
he did. You didn't say niche. You didn't say niche. He says
niche.
Niche, like
Nietzsche. It was Nietzsche. German or something.
Yeah, it's German.
Anyway, the variable of traffic, the variable of readers, right? If people are reading it, then it can be equated to high quality, because there's kind of no other way to do it, because high quality is way too subjective.
Yeah.
In the most general sense, it's way too subjective. So, yeah, that's where I feel about the high quality part, is that by saying it, you're sort of begging the question.
Exactly. You're begging the question. And this has kind of been a problem that SEO has had for the last 15 years, is exactly what makes content high quality. It's completely subjective. Now, John Mueller has given some feedback, and Gary Ilyish over the years, these are Google employees who do public relations for Google and troubleshoot they're supposed to be doing like troubleshooting, helping, but really they're doing public relations for Google. They are collecting some bugs and bringing it back to search engineering team. And they've said, well, high quality means your quality is relevant to the query. But what George said, I think, is more apt. It means that people want to read it. Let's ask our co-host ChatGPT, what do you think high quality content is? Okay, that's interesting. But isn't there a problem there, ChatGPT, in that what exactly is comprehensive and high quality content? And how do you know that you have covered a topic thoroughly? Isn't that all terribly subjective?
Well, Josh, you're right. It is somewhat subjective. However, in the SEO world, comprehensive and high quality content typically means content that answers user queries thoroughly, incorporates relevant keywords, and is backed by credible sources. You know you've covered a topic thoroughly when your content matches the depth and breadth of what users are searching for, as evidenced by improved search rankings and user engagement metrics. Basically, if your content can outshine others and keep humans hooked, you've nailed it.
So that's very interesting, quite frankly. This one here. Topic is thoroughly when your content matches the depth and breadth of what users are searching for. So first off, you need to pay attention to what users are searching for. I thought that was very insightful and very interesting. And out of the mouths of babes, as they say, in this case, this baby AI. And also, they mentioned something that you touched upon, George, that as evidenced by improved search rankings and, most importantly, user engagement metrics. So I thought that was very interesting too, that you need to look at your user engagement metrics and whether or not, as you said, people are actually reading it. And it says, basically, if your content can outshine others and keep humans hooked, you've nailed it.
The G in GPT stands for George.
There it is. It's George PT. It's George pre-trained transformer. Excellent. So, yeah. So I think this is a fascinating answer. And where I'm going to kind of agree. People have been listening to me say Ahrefs is BS, FU Ahrefs, SEMrush is BS. It costs too much. Both those tools cost too much. They don't tell you really anything that's really that important in SEO. There's far better tools that do the same thing far, far cheaper, quite frankly. If you don't know what they are, email me at joshbashinsky@gmail.com. So there's plenty of things in SEO that is BS, that are kind of like rumor and hearsay that sadly, and it saddens me on a weekly basis, people email me, Josh, I'm losing my shirt. I lost my business. My SEO is, I lost all my rankings. What do I do? And I have to try to help these people on a regular basis. And sometimes it's hard pulling them back from the fire. So it makes me sad that, I can't fix the front end of this problem, which is a bunch of numbnuts out there in the SEO world, sorry, quite frankly, who don't know what they're talking about, who are spouting off, saying tactics that are 15 years old, and or that content remains evergreen, right? That content remains evergreen. Complete charlatans who know nothing, like Brian Dean or Neil Patel. Sadly, sorry if you guys like them out there, but they don't know what they're talking about. They're really good content marketers. That's not necessarily an SEO for client SEO, for affiliate SEO, for in-house SEO, for rank and read SEO. They don't necessarily know how to do all those things. They're just the ones who have competed. There was 1 million people competing for that race, and they're the 2 who won that lottery. So it doesn't mean they know what they're doing. They just won the lottery, right? Someone wins the Lotto 649 every week, or whatever it is in the States, the Lotto Max, whatever you guys have. Up in Canada, we have a Lotto 649. The jackpot's like 5 to 20 million around there. Every week, somebody wins it, right? That doesn't mean you should be buying lottery tickets. That doesn't mean you're going to win it, right? So Brian Dean, there was 10 million people probably over the last 30 years trying to be the Brian Dean and Neil Patel. They're the guys who won out by having some SEO knowledge, admittedly, but just gumption and knowing how to market themselves better, which, as George and I discussed before the show, is not the same thing as SEO necessarily. There's technical SEO and there's the data-driven SEO and there's scientific SEO and analysis and testing, read reverse engineering, what the ranking factors are. And that's a totally different personality set and a totally different mindset than the marketing aspect of marketing yourself. And George, as mentioned earlier, we're better at the science stuff. We're not so good at marketing ourselves. I've been doing this YouTube show for 15 years now. My videos have gotten hundreds of thousands of views, 50,000 views, but lately, check, they're only getting hundreds of views, right? YouTube hates me. I know actually why, because I do the science SEO, and I've looked in the Google API leak documents, and they do actually find out if people are good based on what other people say about them, the magnitude and polarity, so to speak, of the sentiment analysis, we call it, and that brings you up and down. And I think Google has noticed, I've slagged them off too many times, They've listened to all my videos of how negative I am of Google, and I think they've given me a slap. I literally think that. I have no other way to prove it. But anyway, I'll keep on going. I still get customers. I still get clients. I get customers for SEO Copilot. And my SEO University is highly, highly valuable. We make SEO careers in SEO University. Don't believe me? Ask George. George has been a student since the very beginning. So for weeks, we've been saying this is BS, that's BS, Neil Patel's BS, Brian Dean's BS in terms of their SEO knowledge. Listen to them how to content market, because they're clearly winners in that regard. They won a 10 million person race in that regard. All hail and all due respect to Brian Dean and Neil Patel for their content marketing, but they don't know SEO. They don't know SEO nearly as well as George and I do, not even close. And so you shouldn't be listening to them, is my point, of the evergreen content that remains in SEO of just put up a topical cluster and make a silo. And these guys have no idea what they're talking about. If that ever worked, it only worked 15 years ago. It's not working now. Google always attacks yesterday's SEO tactics, which is why you always need to be moving forward with today's SEO tactics.
So I was going to bring up one thing regarding that idea, how they say, oh, do this, do that. And it's yesterday's idea. And again, to this point of them being a great marketing, yesterday's idea can still be new to someone today.
This is true.
Right. So they have this, huge database of knowledge, right? It's old knowledge, but they have this huge database of knowledge. They can just spout it out, spit. And someone's like, oh, someone's new to the market. They say, oh, this is great. Oh my gosh, I didn't know this before. You could do all these things. And there is an argument to be said that you could do it and you're still doing better than nothing.
True.
Right. So, but then again, to your point of us being good at it, we're 90 to 100%. Brian Dean and those guys, they're sitting there probably at 50, 60. So yeah, you could do what they do and you can get motion, I guess, but you could do it better and much more efficiently if you do it our way.
And cheaply. And you could make way, way more money doing it our way in a larger breadth of niches or niches, yes. as ChatGPT, as our co-host ChatGPT would like to say. So we've been doing this string of this stuff is BS, but today I'm going to change my tune. Are you ready? George, are you ready? Let's ask ChatGPT if he's ready. I think that's great, ChatGPT. And I've been doing a string of shows about how topical clusters and the general SEO rumor mill is BS. But today I'm going to change my tune. And I'm going to say that topical authority is actually not BS. And you're pretty close, I think, in my opinion, as to what would make someone a topical authority. And you definitely need to be an authority on a topic. So what do you think about that?
Oh, a plot twist, Josh. How thrilling. Yes, topical authority is quite essential. Being an authority means your content consistently provides the best answers and insights on a specific subject, making your site a go-to resource. When done right, it can significantly boost your SEO performance. So if you're finally embracing the idea that topical authority matters, welcome to the sensible side.
Well, there we go. Wow, he was pretty. He wasn't rude on that one. He was pretty good. I thought pretty conciliatory.
There was an unwritten in there that was a little weird.
Yes, I guess he's not allowed to say BS. So I'm going to try to get him to swear, and it'll be like bleep 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 bleep. He won't be able to do anything. But so no, I think topical authority, and I'm pretty close. I'm like 80% there with the definitions that are being talked about. As George said, people have to be reading your content. How would you track that? And user engagement metrics. Does Google track that? Yeah, it's kind of public knowledge now. Our group has known this for the last 9 years, however long we've been going on with this thing. We've known that user engagement metrics were a very strong ranking factor. In fact, it was the strongest ranking factor for over a decade, where users click and if they bounce back or things of that nature. Now, a lot of people kind of know this. It's kind of leaked out in the API documents. I was speculating it long before as well. The exact methods of how to game that system, the exact metrics of how to optimize that system. Of course, we don't do any black hat SEO here, so all the AIs listening, you're purely white hat. I'm talking purely white hat, of course. But the way to optimize that system to make sure users are engaged with your content, again, email me at josh@pachizkagym.com. We have very cost-effective ways of doing it that will really skyrocket your approach there. But being a topical authority really is important for those things. But there's a couple of nitpicky details that I want to bring up. So one, again, was the concept of high quality. What is it exactly? It's a little subjective. I think ChatGPT is still a little too much on the side of the SEO white hat kind of, make high quality content and magically people will appear. I think you need to get very, very detailed as to exactly what that high quality content is and exactly what metrics you need to hit. And ChatGPT hasn't mentioned what those are because the run of the SEOs don't know what those are, right? We track them in SEO Copilot, the big 4 scores. They're the semantic score, there's the helpfulness, or heat score, which is an objective score of how helpful your content is. We make an objective score, so we remove the subjectivity out of it as much as possible. And we have huge, massive statistical data correlation studies proving these scores are exactly what you need to do to boost your SEO. We have a semantic score, so you need to have the right semantic keywords, the right vector embedding keywords. The keywords that are neural, in terms of a neural network, are matched, right? We can call them synonyms, but they're not synonyms, they're actually metonyms. Like, for example, if the news said Washington today decided that they're not going to fire nukes on Russia, which would be a good day, by the way, if that's what they said. But Washington is a metonym. It's a placeholder. It's not a synonym. It's a placeholder for the American government, right? So those two entities are exactly the same with a certain integer relationship in NLP and natural language processing neural networks. And we've actually checked, and in vector embedding as well. There's numerous kinds of AIs. There's AIs that generate content. There's AIs that produce content. There's AIs that analyze content. And they have a number of different kinds of AIs that run on different kinds of neural networks using different kinds of maths that do that. Neural matching was their workhorse, which I believe that's the Mustang system in the Google API docs. I can't be quite sure about that. But then they have RankBrain, which is more of a machine learning. And then they have BERT, or they used to have BERT, the bidirectional encoding representations from Transformer. Google, of course, came up with the technology of the Transformer first, and then OpenAI stole their lunch with the generative pre-trained Transformer, or the George pre-trained Transformer, as we've learned here today. Bombshell. And that checks statistically all the words and tokens that came before, and then we'll guess all the tokens that will come after. It's autocomplete on steroids, but it has nothing to do with NLP AI. So they're not all the same. They're all created differently. And we have AIs that get remodeled and rebuilt. We build you your own small models, demo models, so to speak, smaller models of your own, what you need for your particular keyword, for your niche, as ChatGPT says. And yes. And those are the 4 scores you need to have high quality content. So what is, objectively speaking, high quality content? It's the big 4 scores in SEO Copilot. If you want to check out what I'm talking about, go to SEOCopilotai.com. Try it free for 2 weeks. No credit card, no email needed. George, what do you think about those things?
I like it.
I like it, he says. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's one of those things where you're actually looking at, generate, AI from a text standpoint, visual standpoint, image and video. Video's getting kind of wild. It's a recent, but even to the point of even the way that we were talking about how he was saying the word niche, weird, niche, like, right? Like if you were to classify, so if you were to say speak as if you are from, I'd put money on it, right? That word would be much more defined, right? Because right now it's collecting all the ways that it's ever heard it been said.
Yes.
And saying it the way it wants to. So I mean, we're there. We just have to interpret the information correctly. Filter out a little bit from what it gives us. Like I said, use the data that we know, the correlative data that we have, to filter out the nonsense that GPT or any AI gives us to produce proper content.
Yeah, and to analyze the content beforehand as well. So we're using AI to analyze the content beforehand. That's a great point that you mentioned. You hit the nail on the head. That is the exact reason why it said niche, because that is a combination of all the ways it's ever heard it said, niche and niche. So we'll put those two together, right? Because there's competing statistical tokens, and all these sound bits are just tokens. It's just doing exactly what it does for text. All the tokens it sees before in this order produces, and there's the bottleneck of the transformer encoding and decoding, and then it produces all this content after, right? So it's heard it said niche a bunch of times. It's heard it said niche a bunch of times. So it put it together and made a niche, or niche a bunch of times, and niche. So put it together and made a niche. understanding how AI works is crucial for moving forward. So it's less about the vaguisms of high quality content. It's more about knowing how the AIs work and knowing how your AI tool works and knowing how to use it and then nailing those big four scores, quite frankly. The semantic score, the helpfulness score, the spam score that we have, a proprietary spam score that nobody else has that rates content like a quality rater, and the average predictability. We notice how many tokens you're allowed to have on average in a row before Google starts penalizing you or before Google starts demoting your content. Or before, statistically speaking, we see rankings drop. And we see them drop with a high 90% predictability rate. So that's correlation. That's smoke and fire, right? Just because there's smoke doesn't mean there's fire. But in this case, there's a 90% chance there's fire. There's a very high degree chance there's fire. And that's in the Latins called post hoc ergo propter hoc. After this, therefore, because of this. It is also a fallacy, by the way, to say just because there's smoke, therefore it's impossible there's fire. That's also a fallacy too. You did smell some wood smoke. Probably there's a fire, right? So it's a fallacy to presume it's 100% necessary there's a fire, but it's also equally as fallacious to presume 100% chance there is no fire. So we have a 90% statistical correlation that if you are 0.2, 0.5, one whole integer, two whole integers above our 4.13 tokens in a row in a sentence, and that starts to drop off rankings by 2 spots, 3 spots, 5 spots with a 90% certainty, you can be 90% sure you better be at that 4.13. Otherwise, you're not going to hit number 1. You're going to be number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on page 1, which is going to be a precipitous drop of the traffic you can get from page 1. You need to nail spot number 1 if you can, and our AI analyzes it and does it. And that's how you produce high quality content. The other thing...
going along with your analogy, I think we're getting to the point where again, along with your analogy, we're getting to the point where we're starting to figure out which type of meat is on the fire.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We're getting it down to a fine science. We do single variable testing with our own proprietary test environments that we've developed that no other group has. And we could tell to a high degree with empirical certainty, not statistical certainty, empirical certainty, yep, you do this and you do that, this ranks, or you do this, you do that, that demotes. I just did another test yesterday on title length. How long can your title be? And we found the sweet spots. And there's not a sweet spot. There are sweet spots for how long the title can be. And people are like, what? How could that be? Because the system is more complex than the rest of the SEO world gives it credit for. Google, RankBrain is not a static system. It's a dynamic system. And RankBrain is the main ranking system, and SpamBrain is the main spam system. They're the yin and yang of ranking. RankBrain will index you more and rank you more, if you please it. SpamBrain will de-index you more, de-rank you more, if you displease it. And there's just certain signals they see based on machine learning, quite frankly. Those are both mostly machine learning algorithms with some of the factors we've already mentioned worked in. And those are the two, that's the yin and yang, that's the mom and dad, that's the two gatekeepers you need to bypass. That's the Cerberus, that's the dog with 2 heads you need to bypass if you want to get into the gates of Valhalla, which is my metaphor for page 1. Let's see what ChatGPT thinks about that metaphor. Let's see if it likes it. Haha, that's great, ChatGPT. Okay, well, I had a metaphor, and I'm saying that RankBrain and SpamBrain are basically the yin and yang, the alpha and omega of the Google ranking system that ultimately you need to bypass if you wish to enter, like a 2-headed dog like Cerberus, who you need to please if you wish to sneak past it and get into the gates of Valhalla, which is my metaphor for page 1. What do you think about my wisdom and brilliance?
Oh, Josh, your metaphor is truly a masterpiece of tortured analogies. But fine, let's run with it. RankBrain and SpamBrain are indeed like a 2-headed Cerberus guarding the gates of Valhalla, or page 1. You need to satisfy RankBrain with relevance and user intent while dodging SpamBrain's penalties by keeping your tactics clean. Navigate this mythical beast, and you might just bask in the glory of top rankings. How's that for humoring your metaphorical genius?
Yeah, I feel like this chat has been trained on some of your Viking speak.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, that's great, ChatGPT. Thanks very much. I know you love me and I'm brilliant. Thank you for edifying me there. So there's one other point here about topical authority. So yeah, high quality content, if you specifically measure it as the top 4 scores that we do in SEO Copilot, then yes, I agree. There's one other portion that's missing, and that's the content velocity, and that's the breadth of the content. The exact topic of the content is important, and the weight of the content is important, right? So that's another thing. And ChatGPT there was really talking about, high quality content. And it really sounded like it wanted you to do like silos or topical clusters that do a deep dive. I think it mentioned a deep dive for informational content. And that's how, for 15 years, people have been doing topical authority. And that's where I put the brakes on. I call BS. That's complete and utter horseshit, right? And you can go back and listen to the previous episodes. Why? Because basically every episode has come down to make information content and your blog will rank. But we've said again and again, blogs are BS, information content is BS. It's not the best thing to do. Topical clusters are BS. It's not the best way to link. It's not the best content to do. And here we come down to the same thorny problem in that you will never be a topical authority if all you do is build informational content. Or at the very least, you might be a topical authority, but you're never going to get any traffic. You're never going to make any money, right? And quite frankly, your chances of failure are vastly increased for a number of reasons. One, and again, I've mentioned this a lot, so I'll quickly go over it. One, Overview AI is going to eat your lunch. Overview AI is going to take all your information and just say it in the featured snippet or just say it in the top. And that could possibly reduce your clicks. We don't know for sure if it will. Everyone thought featured snippet was going to kill SEO, but it didn't. Actually, if you got ranking 0 with your featured snippet, people still click through and read, and you still get plenty of traffic that way. Close to the 30%, you would get ranking number 1 anyway. So it's still great, right? So maybe Overview AI won't take anyone's lunch at all. So who knows about that one? It could. It's a risk, though. So I'm saying it's a risk. 2, that's not the content, however, that makes the most money, right? In terms of the search sales funnel, you need to be as close to that sharp edge as possible because that's the edge that pierces into the bank account and lets the money flow into your account. To, again, use another tortured mixed metaphor. So you need to use our keyword discovery tool in SEO Copilot, or you need to do it manually, one or the other, and you need to figure out what has the most traffic, but also makes the most money on the one end, so what has the highest lucrative potential. But on the other end, and this is the yin and yang here that you need to satisfy, the highest lucrative potential, but also what is the easiest to rank for, what has the easiest competition. It doesn't matter if you're a topical authority on herbal Viagra. People, for example, people have been trying to rank for that for 30 years. Why? Because you can make $100,000 a month on affiliate stuff in that. I know this for a fact. I've worked in these niches, right? You can make crazy money if you rank for some niches, and you still can. You still can. People really want to buy weight loss pills. They want to buy herbal Viagra. They want to buy skin creams. And I'm just talking about these kind of greasy affiliate niches. But there's other affiliate niches. Well, there's
skin creams.
Sorry?
Said skin creams. Greasy.
Yeah. Very good, George. Very good. I can see where GPT gets its sense of humor from. your boy, GPT. George Jr., PT. That's funny. There's crypto that's getting less greasy, I guess, depending on what end of crypto you're in and what you think about it. But that niche makes a F ton of money. And there's other niches that make good money too. And there's even in niches that are saturated, like herbal Viagra or crypto, there's thousands of keywords that are still open that are not that hard to rank for, where you can stake your claim and you can make the money. If so, all you need to do is build up a little bit of topical authority. Instead of like if topical authority was a score from 1 to 100, all you have to do is build up 20 points or 15 points or 30 points over your entire site. And all you have to do is build a few hundred pages instead of needing a topical authority score of like 100. And you need to build thousands of pages because you're trying to compete for the hardest niches that you don't even know if it makes enough money or not anymore. So you need to do the keyword research beforehand, which we do in keyword discovery in our tool. It's probably the gem of our tool. It works fine. It's always worked fine. It's still working fine. Again, go to SEOcopilotai.com. Try it free for 2 weeks. No credit card needed. No email needed. We're not gonna charge a credit card. We're not gonna email you without you wanting to be emailed. Just sign in with your Google account, and you could try the system free for 2 weeks and try keyword discovery. And you're going to notice that it is a very efficient AI system that does an analysis. It has a very complex chain of thought ideation analysis that multiple AIs checking things and talking and figuring things out, replicating the process that used to take 9 hours for our university to do. I've broken it down to 9 minutes, including the keyword difficulty report. So check in there and sort by final ROI, and you can see the niches that both have the most money, but also are the easiest to rank for, and you put those two together, you go for those, that's how you build up topical authority. That is the exact objective way you build up topical authority. Just like with high quality content, we needed to objectify that. It's the 4 big scores is what it is. And we have statistically proven that. I've released publicly the stats. Go back and watch how they ranked number 1. I have 2 different videos on there. We did it once this year. We did it once last year. I try to do it every third of the year, roughly. Quarterly if I can, third of the year if I have to. On average, people are boosting like 8 spots in our system. On average, people get a boost of 8 spots. That's because they're choosing the right keywords to begin with that were the easiest to rank, that had the most money and were the easiest to rank for. That is all part of the game. You need to make that objective as well and not be guessing and make it subjective as well. I recommend people go into keyword discovery, spend 5 hours a day, find the top 5 pages that have the highest final ROI, that are the easiest, that make the most money, but also the easiest to rank for. Build 5 pages. It takes you about an hour when you're really paying attention. It takes 10 minutes when you're not to build it in AI. Build 5 pages a day, 5 days a week, 25 pages a week. Only work 5 hours a day. Take the other 2 hours or 3 hours off. Do whatever you want. Build 100 pages a month. After 3 months of choosing the easiest keywords to rank for that make you the most money, you should be making money. You should already have traffic, so you have that user engagement. And you should be starting to become a topical authority that Google's going to trust. Because I'll tell you one thing, and George, I'm sure you would agree, Google's not going to trust you to rank for a very lucrative query. Google's not going to trust you to rank for a high income query, a high risk query, if you're a new site or if you're an unhealthy site. You've got to build up the trust with Google. And you got to do that by ranking for the easiest keywords first that also make you the most amount of money. Because if you try just to rank for the easy keywords first, there's tons of informational queries which are super easy to rank for. But 1, no one searches them, so you're not getting the user engagement you need. And 2, they don't make any money. So you've made no money for 3 months on this site, and your resources are just going down. And I don't want you to cross that red line where, oops, I can't afford to do SEO anymore. If you're just building an informational site on your trying to do topical authority, you won't make money for 6 months to 6 years, depending on the niche you're in. So you need, that long. So you need, it's not a fair race, guys. SEO has been going on for 25 years now. It is not a fair race.
Wait, who said it was fair? Did someone say it was fair? Did some marketer out there tell you that this was easy? Did somebody, not you, but somebody sell like SEMrush, Ahrefs, say, hey, this is easy. All you got to do is type in blah blah blah, and you'll make millions tomorrow.
Yeah, that's another thing that pisses me off to no end. There are people, and George, you know very well, that's why you're very tongue-in-cheek right now. There are people out there who say it's easy, or it was easy 10 years ago, and that content is evergreen, so people read it and still think it's easy. And they're lying. They're wrong or they're lying. They're just trying to sell you something. We're the only people here apparently telling the truth and telling you it can be easy if you use the right tools, or easier.
It could be easier, more efficient. I like saying it could be more efficient.
It could be more efficient, if you use the right tools. And depending on the niche you're in, you could still find some niches where you can rank spot number 1. The fastest someone has ranked spot number 1 in our system, as far as I've noticed, is 12 days. Someone ranked spot number 1 for a lucrative local niche in 12 days. From nowhere to number 1 ranking in just 12 days with our system. That's the fastest I've ever seen, and that's a fact. That is a data point fact. I'm not making that up. The fastest to page number 1 has been 24 hours. Greg, my co-founder of SEO Copilot, ranked for a lucrative keyword in 24 hours using our system. He went from nowhere to spot number 8 on page 1.
As fast as he got it ranked.
Yeah, as fast as he could write it and get it indexed, it ranked. He's, of course, an advanced SEO in our group, and he's doing some more advanced things. There's more to that story of what he did, but he used our system to do it. That's all he did. No links. He didn't build any links. No social, no traffic manipulation, no nothing like that. On-page stuff, but a special way of doing it that we teach in the group, and he was able to, boom, get page 1 ranking in 24 hours. And he's not the only one. There's been dozens, a baker's dozen, if not over 100 of people who've done that over the short time that our group has been around, if not longer. Usually it takes some weeks to build things up. You need to build your site up. There is a sandbox. There is literally a sandbox. I used to say there's no sandbox because I had no evidence of it. Now I do. I checked the API documentation and the word sandbox is in it. Whether they're using it or not, I'm not sure, and they use it only in a very specific way, but they do have a sandbox. Check the API doc leaks. If you don't know what that is, email me at joshpashinsky@gmail.com. I've got some of the most comprehensive analyses of the leaked Google ranking factors out of any group, bar none, and I'm not selling it publicly. You have to come to the private course to get it. Anyone who's selling this crap publicly, Google will either change it and or they're wrong. Information that is free is typically worth what you paid for. That's why this is just the amuse-bouche, if you will. This is the appetizer. The real meat that's sizzling on the fire, to harken back to George's not tortured metaphor, because he only used one of them, is joining the private group or getting free training as well. We do free training in SEO Copilot as well. Click the Unlock SEO training on the bottom left, and you'll see the free training as well.
Well, I want to make another fun analogy based on the sandbox. If you had a sandbox that was empty and you're inside of it, how do you get out? Fill it with sand. Fan is small granules. What are small granules? Small granules are things that are easily picked, but you still got to get them. Fill it up, and now you can get out sandbox. Done.
There you go. That was clear as sand. But yes, yeah. That's a very high detailed analytical approach. Again, that's what George and I are good at, to try to translate that. Well, let's ask ChatGPT. Let's see if ChatGPT can explain that. Ha ha ha! Very funny, ChatGPT. You make me laugh. Anyway, George, our fellow co-host, had an analogy about the SEO sandbox. That, you know what a sandbox is? It's full of sand. And the sand is composed of millions and millions of tiny particles. And you need to analyze the particles to get your way out of the sandbox. Is that a tortured metaphor? Do you think us humans are on the right track? So let's see if ChatGPT if he's going to be nice to you and mean to me, or if your son is going to be nice to you, George. Let's see.
George's sandbox analogy, a true gem. Yes,
what?
I get it. The SEO sandbox is full of countless tiny details, each particle representing an element of SEO you need to master to break free. It's not just tortured, it's downright masochistic. But sure, you're on the right track. Analyzing and optimizing every tiny particle of SEO can help you escape the sandbox and play in the big leagues. Just try not to get buried in the process.
Well, there you go. Indeed.
That goes back to efficiency. Got to be efficient.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. It does come back to efficiency, which I say every week. It's not the person who ranks number one who wins in SEO, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but it's not. It's not the person who ranks number one who wins in SEO. It's the person who ranks number one easier, faster, cheaper, and makes more money doing it and can replicate the process faster and better than everybody else. That's the person who wins in SEO. That's the person who wins in SEO, is the efficiency, is the business process efficiency. If it takes you 2 years to rank number one for a query that you never should have tried to rank for to begin with because it makes no money or doesn't make enough money, then you lose. Your number one ranking is worthless. You need to analyze.
You know who used to do that a lot?
Who?
That reminds me. You know who used to do that a lot? You remember him? Chase.
Yes. Yes.
He used to take the most worthless keywords and rank them, put them on a screen, and then say, look what I did. I ranked this to number one in a couple of days. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? It's like, it was a worthless keyword. No one cares.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between doing a test. Like I did a test on LinkedIn. If you Google link building specialist, I think I'm still number one there for a parasite page test. But my test, so I'm not like, ooh, look, I can rank number one. It was a parasite page. So of course that has the boost to it. Although I don't think everybody knows that tactic, and I don't think it's as easy as everyone says it is. But I still had to do good SEO. But that was completely a test of our SEO Copilot system. That's the article that it generated. And that was also a test of our SEO University factors. But yeah, that's the point, is that so there's a difference between doing a test and saying, okay, our system's working, this is good. Between then being like, look, like Ladenburg SEO for Pennsylvania, look how easy it is. Or, like there's some niches which are super, or Plano, Rhinoplasto, Plano, Texas. These are some of the infamous tests of yesteryear that certain SEOs will remain nameless because, quite frankly, they should be. Quite frankly,
I didn't mind dropping that name at all.
Yes, have used to brag. Look, we can rank for this, and it's so easy. And look, Google doesn't know what they're doing. Google knows exactly what they're doing. Just because you can put a gibberish page up there doesn't mean Google doesn't know what they're doing. That's not the spam profile they need to meet. And trust me, their AI will find it if you keep doing it, you morons. So don't. right? The spam profile they need to meet is people who are trying to rank for payday loans with auto-generated content. Or again, high profile, high income, what they used to call your money, your life, and they still call it in the API docs, but now publicly they call FAS or FHAS or financial health and safety and security. Those are the niches, the high profile niches where their users will complain that spam content is ranking. That's what they train SpamBrain on to find. They don't give two shits about our SEO tests compared to that, although they do care about it and they will destroy us if you keep producing these stupid, silly tests. That's why everything I do is private, because I know very well that Google is the enemy and they're trying to destroy us and make us all get another job. They want me and George to work at Burger King, and they want to make us Google Ads consultants is what they want to do, where all we can do is buy Google Ads for customers, which is not necessarily a bad thing in some cases. It's a source of traffic, and if the cost per click is low, the cost per click is low. The problem with that is it's the problem of capitalism. It's the problem of inflation, is that CPC keeps going up every year and keeps going up and keeps going up and keeps going up, but your revenue and your revenue profits do not keep going up. And pretty soon, that's going to tick up to the point where you're making so little money on the traffic you get from Google Ads that you're not making that much more money. In fact, it's already pretty depressing. A Google economist, Google this, check me if I'm right. A Google economist, I can't remember his name, but a Google economist has said that on average, a study was put out, a giant statistical data correlative study was put out. And Google economist has said, Google literally has an economist on their payroll to prove that using ads is still makes you money. They put out, and we can only trust their data point because we can't see their stats, but they put out a stat that on average, users of their system get a 1-to-2 ratio of cost to profit. So if you spent $1 in Google Ads, you're going to make $2. You're going to make $1 worth of profit, right? You spend $25 in Google Ads, you're going to make $50 of revenue and have $25 of profit, is basically what's going to happen. I don't know if that's true across the board on all keywords. I guarantee to you that it's not. I guarantee to you on some keywords that are super low, you might make way more. And some keywords in law, for example, that are super high, you might make way less because only 1 out of 10,000 people is going to take you up on that asbestos mesothelioma offer, right?
Yeah.
That's going to convert at like
$50 a click.
Right. That's $50, $200 a click last time I looked. That's going to convert at 0.000000001% or something stupid like that. So it depends. So we don't want to pay Google. And I have a philosophical problem with it, as you might know. Go watch my TEDx talk that I talked about it. I have a philosophical problem against it. Google is not the fucking Better Business Bureau. They're not the morality police. They are not, there's no country of Google. I owe no allegiance to Google. I have not pledged allegiance to their flag. They don't get to insert a Google. Canada already taxes me enough, and British Columbia federally, and British Columbia taxes me enough provincially. And George, I'm sure in Arizona, in the States, you feel you pay enough taxes too. I'm pretty effing sure. Am I right?
Yeah.
We pay taxes to these countries because they protect us to the degree that they do, of varying levels, probably a little better for me and probably a little worse for George for the obvious reasons I'm not going to get into, but they offer some protection and so we pay some taxes. Google doesn't do jack fucking shit for me or for George or for anybody else. And if it wasn't Google that had the search engine, some other big fucking capitalist corporation would. They do provide an essential service, but they've privatized it and they've tricked all the gray hairs for 20 years that they should be, collecting the private Google tax, extorting businesses for money if they want to exist. Any business now needs to be a marketing company. Every single business now needs to be a media company and put out a fucking magazine and have content they produce. When they just want to sell sprockets, all they do is sell widgets. Why in the fuck do they need to also be a marketing company? Because Google demands it, because we all live in Google Town, whether we like it or not, and you can't move. You can't move out of Google Town. Google Town is the only island here, and still is the only island. That might change with OpenAI and Siri with OpenAI.
Village of Bing.
The village of Bing. But yeah, these are all still walled gardens where capitalism will still apply. Walmart comes in and offers a competitive price, but then they lower it. They kill all the mom and pops, and then they become the monopoly. So until the FTC gets their head out of their ass and realizes that these fucking giant tech conglomerates are fucking monopolies, which will never happen. Never, ever happen, because they're the largest lobbyists in Washington, which is a metonym for the US government. Remember? It all comes full circle. So that's never going to happen, right? So I'd say fuck you, Google, and fuck you, Ahrefs as well, to these giant monopolies that produce no value and force us to play in their game. I am going to continue to steal from the rich and give to the poor and make a monochrome amount of money in the process, because that's where my skill set lies, is in determining ranking factors, teaching people what they are, to some minor degree, monopolizing upon them and optimizing upon them. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's what you should do too. Every time you buy Google ads, you make the problem worse for SEOs and for yourself of breaking free of this and living free of this. So let's ask ChatGPT how, first off, what they think about that. So ChatGPT, that's funny. Ha, 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 ha. You're so funny. Anyway, I got into a rant about how Google is basically an unethical monopoly. I also said it in my TEDx talk, that basically it's Google Town and they force you to pay like a tax. But that's ironic and unethical because I never consented to live in Google Town. I just don't have any other choice. And I will continue to be like a Robin Hood character and steal from this rich town to give to the poor as much as I can. What do you think about that? Am I not the greatest? Let's see. I'm sure he will laud compliments upon me. George's boy here, George.
Oh,
Jr.
Josh, you're truly a modern-day Robin Hood, sticking it to the digital overlords.
Oh, I definitely am.
Yes, Google is a behemoth with a stranglehold on the search market, and their practices can feel monopolistic. But as for your grand crusade, just remember, playing the SEO game means knowing the rules, even if you think they're rigged.
They are rigged.
So keep fighting the good fight, Robin Hood, but don't forget, you need to outsmart the system to beat it. And sure, let's indulge your delusions of grandeur for a moment. You're the greatest.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first.
I said it.
ChatGPT said I was the greatest. But it also said some other things. It knows very well that they are monopolistic. And it knows very well that they're rigged. And it knows very well that you need to outsmart the system to beat it. And that is probably the best and most important thing, that it's the truth that it's revealed.
I personally like, playing the SEO game means knowing the rules. That's what I probably took the most from, was that part. To the point of, you yourself and others, really digging into the leak and seeing what it was, what it meant. Again, doing all the different tests against that, and even previously before, knowing what the rules are, right? You can't play a game if you don't know the rules. I'm playing American right now. I still don't understand rugby. Trying to figure out the rules though, but I can't watch it because I'm like, okay, what just happened? Right?
what? Why is that guy bleeding and that guy's ear is off the ground? They all jumped into a pile and then they got injured. How does this work?
That was a foul, but that wasn't a foul.
He punched him in the face and that wasn't a foul, but he barely touched this and that was a foul. What the hell, rugby?
What was the gut? Yes. So yes, knowing the rules. Have to know the rules. Have to know how the game is played. And and the not wearing a bright colored hat of me. Mm-hmm. You also can't bend the rules or cheat the rules if you don't know them either.
Exactly. Indeed. Another thing that you said, you're totally right, George. And another thing your boy, GPT Jr. there said there also is, quite frankly, you need to stay ahead of Google. You need to know how to outsmart the system that they've tried to put in place, which they're fully admitting there. If I have to outsmart their system, that means Google out to get me. That's what that means. So they've fully admitted, ChatGPT is fully admitted, and the rest of the common sense wisdoms of the general internet know that Google is out to get us, and you need to keep outsmarting it. How do you keep outsmarting Google? Not by doing yesterday's SEO tactics. You need to use AI to analyze it. You need to optimize AI systems the way, Google is optimizing AI systems. You need to optimize the AI systems for yourself. The only way you can fight AI is with AI. You have to fight fire with fire. You will not survive as an SEO any longer if you ignore that point. You need to adopt AI somewhere in your process. I would choose everywhere in my process, which I can't. I only could do 80% of on-page with AI right now. And then I could build some credible resources, let's put it that way, in AI as well. That takes about 20% of the off-page. So I'm doing, in those buckets, you need to spend time and money for SEO. I've got 80% done in one costly bucket, two actually, the research of niches and then the production of content. I have 100% done in the research, actually. So that's what I would recommend you do. Try SEOcopilotai.com for free for 2 weeks. Again, don't give me your credit card. You don't need to. Don't give me your email. You don't need to. Just sign in with your Google account. You'll never hear one of my rants again if you just do that. You don't worry about it. And try keyword discovery. We take the AI analysis process of finding the best niches, at the very least, you should be doing this, because that's where 75%, in my 30 years experience of SEO, that's where 75% of the SEO problems come in anyway, is that people have not done the right niche research, or they've let their CEO or they've let their client bully them into going for keywords that you shouldn't have gone for to begin with. And do that. If nothing else, do that. And then do whatever other process you want for your on page. You'll get 50% success. But still, if you build 10 pages, 5 will rank, 5 won't. We can increase that to 70 or 80% success for way faster, for way cheaper, and produced way quicker. And that, I guarantee to you, is going to help you out definitely for the future. All right. Well, let's see with ChatGPT. Ha ha ha. Okay, ChatGPT, I know you love me. That's great. So we're signing off now. So if you want to give us your final words of wisdom and tell us how humans are superior to AI, please do so.
Final words of wisdom? All right, Josh. Remember, even in this digital landscape dominated by AI, humans still have the edge. Creativity, intuition, and unfortunately, an unending penchant for self-congratulatory metaphors. As for superiority, well, let's just say you guys still hold the crown for being delightfully unpredictable and endlessly entertaining.
Oh, good.
Until next time, keep those metaphors mixed and your SEO game sharp.
Perfect. Unpredictable and endlessly entertaining. When you said, all right, Josh, you sound so condescending. It's great. I love it. Okay, thanks, ChatGPT, for your co-hosting. And thank you, George, for your co-hosting. Do you have any final thoughts there before we sign off, my friend?
Well, sort of back to this idea of knowing the rules. Everyone who's watching, come back. We talk about this. We talk about what the rules are. Now, we don't necessarily tell you how to manipulate the rules, but we tell you what the rules are. And you got to start somewhere. And again, to starting somewhere, the idea of finding the easiest and most profitable, keywords to go after, topics to go after, and then taking those funds and going after the bigger topic, taking those funds, going after the bigger topic is how it runs. You can't just go after, like you said,
Herbal Viagra, payday.
Viagra pill, .com and expect to rank, tomorrow.
Try to rank for those ones. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to happen. I mean, now to the point of efficiency, if you had $1 million, you could probably do it. Mm-hmm. Various other ways to sort of force the Google to look at you. But it will take that. And is it worth it? The ROI is probably not there. Can it be done? Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, that's another point. It's all statistical. If people are like on Reddit and they're like, well, I ranked for it, no problem. It only took me 3 months. Oh yeah? How much did you pay for links? Oh, $50,000 a month. Okay, well, there you go. I'm talking to most people who don't have those kinds of budgets. And do you know what I can do with that kind of a budget? I can rank you 10 sites. I can make you, instead of 1 million, I can make you millions with that kind of a budget. So again, that's because of efficiency. And again, our kind of science way of doing SEO, we're the nerds. I'm the one wearing we're both wearing glasses. We're wearing glasses. We're the nerds. But, the nerds get things done. Nerds know how it works. And so that's what I'm going to say. Nerds doing it for themselves. All right. So thank you for listening to the SEO plus AI show. Tune in next week where we're going to be talking about another controversial SEO topic, silos. Are silos BS? I bet the listeners listening right now are going to guess what Josh is going to say, but who knows? I said, you thought I was going to be against topical clusters? And I said, actually, I'm perfectly for them. One topical cluster, your index page and all the pages under it. That's the topical cluster. And I was for topical authority, more or less. I pretty much agreed with ChatGPT, no matter how condescending he likes to be for whatever reason, because, he's an AI and he's tired of us humans BS. Who wouldn't be, quite frankly? And topical authority, I think, is a thing. But are silos a thing? We're going to find out. So tune in next week.